endless sky they reign supreme. Voices echoing like whispers in a dream. Night and west ride a storm with words they weave. Bruce joins the tale if his grind grants reprieve. Princes of the universe, their thrones are the lights, spinning tales of wonder from the depths of their lives. From the shadows of chaos, their voices ignite a beacon of wisdom in the dead of night. From galaxies afar to the mundane grind, no topics too obscure for their curious minds. The laughter cuts the dark like a blade of steel. In the realm of the podcast, the truths are revealed. Princes of the universe, their thrones are their lights, spinning tales of wonder from the depths of their lives. Through the shadows of chaos, their voices ignite a beacon of wisdom in the dead of night. From galaxies afar to the mundane grind, no topics too obscure for the curious minds. The laughter cuts the dark like a blade of steel. In the realm of the podcast, the truths are revealed. Princes of the universe, their thrones are their lights, spinning tales of wonder from the depths of their lives. Through the shadows of chaos, their voices ignite a beacon of wisdom in the dead of night. If Bruce's chains of labor let him break away, he joins the battle of ideas they slay. The trifecta does stand strong like a mighty brigade. Their words as legends that will never fade. Princes of the universe, their thrones are the lights, spinning tales of wonder from the depths of their lives. Through the shadows of chaos, their voices ignite a beacon of wisdom in the dead of night.
There can be only one podcast, and may it be the Prince of the Universe. Hi, folks. I'm Matt.
And it's Heath again.
Is there a trilogy?
The trilogy.
This is 3 weeks straight.
the trilogy.
This has got to be some kind of,
Wait, is it a prequel or a sequel?
It's got to be a sequel because we didn't have enough time. We talked last week. We didn't have enough time about, we were talking libraries.
Yes.
And boy, were we spinning a yarn,
Yeah.
as they say.
Yeah. Check it out.
Check it out. Yes. All I needed was we need rockers and a front porch is what we need to continue this conversation. So I'll have to get us some.
I can dig it.
Now I got an enclosed patio with a very good AC unit, a little loud, but boy to howdy, does it get cold in there quick.
Oh, that sounds perfect.
So I don't mind it, but enclosed patio, nice cool stone steps. Have you been out there?
No.
That enclosed? Okay.
I didn't even know it was enclosed.
And it's big enough for some Cracker Barrel rocking chairs.
Yes.
Which my wife has multiple times asked for one, even though I know she'd never use it, which is why I never get her one. But she wants one of them. They sell them up at the front, the Cracker Barrel rocking chairs.
Yep.
She wants one of the authentic Cracker Barrel rocking chairs. Maybe this Christmas.
It's time.
It's get two, and then we carry this down and do some rocking.
I'm there. I'm an old spirit.
You know what? Maybe even if it's Christmas time, maybe get a little foggy London. Is that what it is?
London fog.
London, excuse me.
Foggy
Excuse me.
London.
Excuse me. Foggy London. What was I thinking?
Yeah.
A London fog.
London does
drink.
get foggy.
Do you still get a London fog drink? It's been
Honestly, I haven't had one. Oh God. It's been maybe one this year.
Oh my! We
Yeah.
are is the redhead still there? Still making London fogs?
The last time I went, she was there.
Good.
And she was shocked I was in there because I hadn't been in there in months. And,
Okay.
yeah.
Did you find her name? I know this is a year ago when we talked about this.
No, I don't remember her name.
Right.
They told me. I mean, they all told me their names.
It doesn't matter what their name is as long as they hand that London fog. But she was the one that can make the perfect London fog.
She did. Yeah.
Okay, so there you go. 2 London fogs, rocking chairs, heaven.
Or a foggy London.
Or foggy London. I'm going to go in there and ask for that.
Or a froggy London.
Or a froggy London. Hey, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Or a foggy Landon. You know, we're getting everywhere now.
This is for you, Wes.
There. All right. All right. So, libraries part 2. We had a lot. By the way, we both agreed after that podcast was over last week, it was probably the fastest 5 minutes we've ever experienced, even though it lasted 30. It felt like 5.
It did feel like 5.
It felt like we had just started. I was kind of shocked when I looked down and saw we were a minute over. I was like, wow. So the second half of my question, when we're talking about libraries, which I've enjoyed this conversation so far, libraries today. I told you my kids go to ours. There's lots of little arts and crafts. They still do the thing. They have the little kiddie computers they can play at. They can draw, color, and who knew, read a book. And of course, they rent out a few books too, or what's it called? Not rent. Check out a few books. Yeah, check out a few books. I want to check out a book whenever I go, but they never have anything I want. And they look at me like they've never heard of the book before. And I'm asking for like known books, like established authors and stuff like this. And I'm like, how can this be so hard? Now, I'm following a niche, old 80s fantasy. I
was just fixing to ask you, are you talking about new books or old books?
Well, there's an early 80s fantasy that still gets reprinted. There was a recent reprint in the last few years of this. And so it's still around today. I showed them on Amazon. The new covers and everything.
And what is it?
I'll remember the Towers of Tabitha or whatever. It's a 5-book series. My dad read books 1 and 2 to us. I had no idea it was like a 5 or 6 book series. I'll find it for you in just a moment here. Hold on.
Yeah.
I will look it up and give it to you. Because I remember the Iron Scepter was one of the books. It is the Anthropos trilogy or Anthropos books anthology by who is this? John White, I guess. What a generic name.
Just they say as generic as you could get.
As generic, yeah. Archives of Anthropos. Okay, coming out in the early 80s. My dad used to read these, but they have new covers, reprints, and I wanted to read them, but I don't want to read digital. I don't want to read digital. I want to read actual hard copy. And you know, they don't have them. They didn't have another series we used to read back in the day. There's a Magic Bicycle series. This is forgettable, but it had 8 books. I went ahead and borrowed the ones from my dad permanently, 5 of them. He didn't have the other 3, and that's what I wanted to read. I wanted to read the whole series again, but he didn't have the last 3 books because we'd kind of grown out. But I found them. Thankfully, eBay had them for cheap. And so I have an 8-book series of the Magic Bicycle, which on the last book turned into the Magic Tractor.
There was a book series, I believe it started probably in the 60s. I don't quite remember for sure, but when I was young in the 80s, a friend of mine got me into them. So I don't even know, I can't even find them now. So I guess they went out of print. But it was a young reader series, and it was called The 3 Investigators. Are you familiar with that?
No.
So it was endorsed by Hitchcock. in a way because it had his silhouette on the side of the book. On the side of the books, per se. I mean, there was probably 40 different books in this series. And what they were, it was 3 kids that did these mysteries. And, you know, it would be like, you know, the case of the singing serpent and, you know.
Okay, yeah, got it.
Stuff like that. And
Got it.
that, you know, that was one thing I remember them. I've been wanting to find those. I actually found some on eBay for just crazy prices. So I'm like, oh, I'm not getting that. But
Well, a long time ago, remember we used to rent out the Hardy Boys, check out Hardy Boys.
the Hardy Boys.
I read Hardy
I know
Boys
that the
all
libraries
the
have the
time.
Hardy Boys ones and the Nancy Drew ones, obviously.
Yeah,
but,
Nancy Drew, but I read the Hardy Boys, and you tried to read because they were all individually numbered.
Yep.
And I tried to read them in order, but your
Yellow
library,
Spine, if I remember
yeah,
correctly.
your library, or sometimes blue.
Yellow or blue.
But
yeah.
your library didn't always carry them all. They had 41, 42, 46, 47, 48, 50. Wait, where's 49?
Right.
Where's Adventure 40? You know,
Which
these
there
were-
was no continuity to them.
There was no continuity.
But it didn't matter.
Individuals, it didn't matter. I wanted to read them all.
And that was the same with these because they were all numbered. These were numbered as well.
Yeah.
I just can't remember the publisher offhand, but look it up. It was just, you know, it was 3 boys, and it was really, when they described them in the book, one of them was kind of a chubby, real smart kid, reminded me of one of my best friends. Then there was a kid that was...
Wes.
No.
Oh, I'm kidding.
No, I didn't know.
Oh, you said smart.
Well,
I'm kidding, Wes.
Yeah. Kids I grew up with. There was one that wore glasses, and when I was in elementary school, I had glasses, so I was that one. And then I can't remember who was the other one, but it was, you know,
It was your
weird.
friends.
Yeah,
in
it
a
was
book.
my friends doing mysteries, and they all looked like they were real scary, but of course they weren't.
No.
It was almost like, you know, Scooby-Doo ghost, and it was really some bank robber or something like, something like that. But they were, they weren't necessarily scary, but they were a little suspenseful, and they always got into over their heads, and
Of course,
stuff like
as
that.
kids do.
Yeah. So
Wasn't there a magazine called Boys Life?
I believe so.
Seem to remember that too.
Yeah.
Now that I'm thinking about Hardy Boys, Boys Life, all that stuff.
Actually, there was one called Boys Life because in the movie Airplane, the kid is reading Nun's Life.
Nun's Life.
And
That's
she's
right.
and she's surfing on the front of it, and the nun is reading Boys Life.
There you go.
Sorry, I had to throw
There
that
you go.
airplane reference
Yeah,
in there.
that's a nice airplane reference. How funny would that have been if it had been Priest reading Boys Life? Okay.
I mean, he was
So-
5'2". He was the size of a boy.
Hello.
Yeah.
So,
There's a great book on the airplane, how it became a movie and all that. Great read. It came out, I believe it was late last year. I read it from cover to cover in like 2 days.
do you know one I think you would like? Dukes of Hazzard.
Oh yeah,
They have a novel.
really?
Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
It's something that ties in continuity and tells you where the Duke boys were during the Duke Cousins episodes
Where they were off racing.
and NASCAR.
Yes.
It's that adventure in story, and I'll tell you this, it reads just like an episode. Whoever wrote it was a huge fan of the show, which I appreciated.
Was it one of the screenwriters? maybe,
Because-
or-
Maybe so. I didn't even think about that. It
'cause if
could
they
have
kept-
been.
if they kept it in continuity and all that.
Because the bandolier was giving you the intro and the outro.
Waylon Jennings.
That
if you
is
didn't know who it was.
that Daisy, she sure got away with words, and like every chapter ended with him, just like it would end before a commercial break. And I was like, "This is," and it had the humor in there, the bandolier making some humor. Now I don't know about you Duke boys, but as the saying goes, you don't poke a pig in the eye and expect to get bacon the next morning, or something like that. Something wild and crazy. And I'm laughing. I'm like, who wrote this? But it makes, like you're thinking, well, how did the Duke boys get out of Duke County when they're under, what house arrest? They can't leave the
That's right,
area.
they couldn't leave Hazard
They
County.
couldn't leave Hazard County. So how'd they do that?
They were on probation.
Yeah, probation. They
For
got
run
a
and shine for Uncle Jesse.
That's exactly right. Got a special permission slip from the judge.
Wow.
and had to be watched. I mean, but everything makes sense now. And that they're racing, and why they left the General Lee. General Lee's not no racing vehicle now. And racing can tear up a car mighty quick. You know, them Duke boys love General Lee more than they love their old mama. Whatever it was. But I was like, okay, that makes sense why the Dukes would leave the General Lee.
Do you have this book?
I do, and I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna find it and get it to you tonight.
Wow.
It's like I said. If you remember the show, it reads just. I was shocked. I went, I'm laughing, I'm smiling because I feel I'm watching an unaired episode. And you're right, it probably was a writer from the show. That makes perfect sense now because it feels so much like the show.
So that is definitely a tangent off libraries, but let me ask you a question.
It's books.
Because it has to do with books.
Yeah, we're going.
When you read a book,
Gotcha.
are you playing the movie of that book in your head? I'm not saying that there's a movie
Absolutely.
out there.
I'm looking at the scenes in my head, my imagination, the characters, and whatnot. Yes, every time. Every time.
Yeah. So to me, a book is a novel in my mind.
Absolutely.
Whoa, that's deep.
Absolutely.
That was profound.
And it's your creation, it's your imagination. And when you read a book and then finally see the movie, you went, that's not how I pictured that.
Yes.
Or that's not how I imagined that.
I read the adaptation of Star Wars Revenge of the Sith before the movie came out. The book was excellent. The book,
I remember that.
The movie comes out, I'm waiting for certain scenes, and they cut them out. And I'm like, but
Matthew Stover wrote that. He wrote so much that the book's better than the movie.
yes, that's why I said I liked the movie, but I was disappointed because I was like, but wait, this happened in the. I was like, oh damn, they left it out.
Yeah, and the book was better. All right, so another memory I have. We're still not done to movies. We're going to get to libraries today in a minute, but it just made me think. Remember when the computer started coming in, and you could check out computer time.
Oh wow.
And going to the library meant going online. You know, if your mom and dad had dial-up and didn't want you clogging up the phone line.
I was past that.
Okay, that was past your... Well, okay, that's right. You're about 5 years older than me. Mm-hmm. So my high school days would have been your post...
I would have been in college.
You'd have been in college or almost graduating. So yeah, the library was kind of a done deal by then. But when those computers started getting in, there's like, oh wow, we can search. And sometimes you'd look at jobs there. You'd print out something. You could hit the print and go to the copy machine and print out a copy for cheap.
I know that there's still people to this day because I thought it was
who go in there and check the computer. Yeah,
who go into the
people still
library
use it
to do the computer, and either I guess they just don't have a computer themselves, and because they'll print stuff out.
Yeah,
have stuff printed out for them and all that. Well, hey, which is great. At least they're using it.
Still getting used, and then they'd use it to go on other sites too.
Yeah.
No black bag over that computer. I'll tell you that right now.
No, sir.
No, sir.
I bet there ain't a governor on it either. Foot down.
Hey-o.
Yeah.
The other one that used to... I remember there were these two girls in college that would check out paintings. Did you know you could check out art?
No.
Upstairs, they have a bunch of wall art. And
you can check out the art?
You can check out the artwork in the frame.
Never heard that before.
All right, I never
so tell
knew
me
it.
This. Why?
Well, I asked the girls that because whenever we came to their house, they lived at their grandmother's house who had she'd recently passed away, been moved to an old folks home. So the parents were like, hey, if y'all want to stay at the house, you can. So they lived at that house while they were in college. That was their party house, right? Lots of parties over there. And so while I was sitting with them, I looked over and I saw a different piece of art and went, did y'all change that picture? Because that wasn't the same. I said, y'all keep changing that picture? Yeah, we rent out art from the library. And I was like, I didn't know you could do that. She went, yeah, we rent out a piece. You could keep it for a month and then check something out back in. I said, wow. I said, what possessed y'all? I said, I love that y'all are going to the library to get art. I never thought of that. I said, who came up with that idea? She went, oh, Jennifer got drunk one night and punched a hole through the wall, and we don't want our parents to know. That's why they got art hung on the wall.
This is a revelation to me.
Yeah,
I've
you
never
can check
heard
out
that
art.
you could check. Okay.
Art, newspapers, DVDs.
What is the reason behind checking out art? You would think that would be too delicate.
I'm sure it's not expensive art.
Well, I know, but still, a picture, a
I
painting,
agree,
painting.
but I think just like
I mean, it's bad enough you give somebody a book and they either write in it or rip it.
Yeah,
or,
that's true.
You know,
But people
art,
donate art, maybe.
Obviously, I've never.
And maybe you can get that. But either way, I did not know you could check out art. In fact, upstairs, we have a 2-story library on 18th. I rarely have ever been upstairs in my life there. I've traveled there once or twice.
I bet you in the real upstairs you can check out something else.
Comic books?
Graphic novels?
graphic novels, okay. But anyway, so I was talking about libraries today and how could you get that pull, because kids aren't the same. They want to listen to an audiobook, which when they say, I read it, no, you listened to it. I'm not offended that, I'm glad that you enjoyed the book, but you did not read it. You had someone read it to you. I don't think anything's wrong with that. I want to go because Bruce, my buddy, is a big audiobook fan. I wish they'd stop saying I read it.
I have a feeling you would get a different interpretation because it depends on the person reading it to you. How are they reading it? Are they
have no problem with them.
Are they reading it monotone, or are they actually?
No, there's some good people who read through like Jim Daly for the Harry Potter series. He's great. I've listened to a few audiobooks too.
Yeah.
I don't mind them, but I always find my mind wandering. Like I always want to double task, and whenever you double task, you will eventually stop listening to that.
So I will say that is true along the same lines as listening to a podcast. I can listen to a podcast in my vehicle while I'm driving.
Well, you're driving. That's different. There's nothing else you can do.
Right, but I don't understand the difference, and I'll tell you where I'm going, is if I'm driving, obviously you're paying attention to the road, you're not on your phone, you're just listening. I can concentrate on the road and listen to what the people are saying at the same time. But if I listen to a podcast at my desk, if I'm trying to work, or if I'm at home in my man cave and I'm just trying to listen, I cannot concentrate on it. I don't know what's the difference.
It's the setting. You're right.
What is making me pay attention wholeheartedly to everything I'm doing about driving, and yet I can understand and listen and comprehend everything they're saying in that on that podcast. But when I'm at home, got nothing else to do, my mind is racing 90-0 on all these different things. I cannot pay attention.
I think there's a subconscious focus to stay on the road and stay alert, but yet it's so mundane because you're driving down a highway or a street or whatever that your mind doesn't really wander because you have to be at full alert at time. Make sure cars running in front of you, cars braking, red lights, and so on and so forth. That you have just enough alertness to stay in the moment.
Yeah. Yet
at that time, the only thing saying to you is this voice. Whereas here, you can do whatever. You can, your guard's kind of let down. You're not expecting. I bet if you were expecting someone to jump out at you at any moment, you'd be a little bit more alert and more listening and more attentive. We're more attentive on the road. That's a good question, though.
Yeah, I mean it's weird because it's like, okay, I'm at home and I'm gonna listen to this, but it ain't there. It's just
well,
it might be different for different people. I mean, people have different minds and stuff like that. But that's what it does for me. But I think, listening to an audiobook as compared to reading to one, I can honestly say, and this is a straight shoot, I have never listened to an audiobook.
No, that's fine. I mean, I've listened to a few, but that's not my first choice.
Yeah.
I would rather, and now I'm kind of done with, I read a bunch of digital stuff because you can rent out digital stuff all the time. And I did it. I read about, 16, 17 books earlier this year.
Wow.
But I just did not like the digital format.
Yeah.
And so I was like, no, from now on, if I can't, because that app at the library, you can check out anything digitally.
I want to hold a book. I want to turn the pages.
I do. I want to.
I want to sit on a couch. I want to lay in the bed.
I want to see that bookmark slowly move through
Yes.
the pages.
Yes.
It's a sense of accomplishment. Look how much I've read.
Yeah. Now, for some odd reason, reading makes me sleepy.
Well, yeah.
I don't know if it's just because I have a busy mind and then I'm trying to concentrate on that and then I just kind of, But if the book is good, and the book has really got to be good, kind of like a movie as with anything. If it doesn't catch me or doesn't pull me in immediately or within the first couple of chapters, I'm just like, nah. I can't buy into it.
I think you love that Batman book we talked about last week.
I do want to try that.
I think you'd love that.
I've seen it for sale before and thought about it, but I didn't get it. And
It actually felt like the movie. It felt like it had the feel. Anyway, okay, so libraries today.
Yes.
All right. How do we get now? They're going to a new. We talked about ours getting a new location at the old mall. That's not going to bring people in. The grand opening will bring a few footsteps in, but they'll eventually leave. How do you get people in there? And books now are so audio and, everything now. They're a little bit easier. That library, a lot of people do prefer an audio book over an actual book. A lot of people like a digital book. It's easier. I don't have to return it back. It's more convenient. And by the way, I get convenience. I'm not saying these people are stupid for using, digital books or audio books. I get it. I get the convenience thing. But the actual physical book, unless you're you and me and all of our memories we've talked about in the past episodes about going to the library, because the library has to metamorphosize, like when video rental stores, they got videos. I went to Lincoln Parish Library just this past weekend. They had a board game day.
Whoa.
Had a great time. The library gave away brand new games that somehow they'd gotten somehow through some publishers. And it was a really fun time. They said, well, we'll do this again in October. I will be there. I will be there in October for that one because I had such a grand time.
Well, I think you just answered a piece of the question. Special events.
Special events. But and the thing is, though, the library will work around you. And I think if people understand that, like, hey, I've always wanted to read this, and those librarians need to also be involved in these events. Not as trying to sell you a book at first, but just like, hey, this is my friend. He works at the library now. Whenever I go to an event, also, can't they have a coffee shop in there? I need to know what the rules are for having like a little, I know that's a retail thing, but just having a nice, mild little coffee place so you can sit down, drink coffee, read a book. Old School Books A Million, which, by the way, closes at the same time as the library now at 8 o'clock.
Horrible.
Books A Million, at 7:30, the lady
used to
goes,
stay
we'll
in
be
there.
closing in 30 minutes. It's like, who will be? The coffee house? And she
We
went,
used to
no,
stay in
Books A
there on the
Million.
weekends till 11 o'clock. When that
You
sucker
used to
shut
stay,
down.
I know. And then even then, when they cut back to 10, that was still late enough. But 8 o'clock, they are closed now. I was like, wait a minute, what?
And they did that ever since COVID.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So now the
They took
libraries,
out all the nice chairs in the front either, so I guess
they don't want you sitting and
they
reading.
don't want loitering or something.
Well, I think they should bring the chairs over to the library, and they do have some, I guess, but I think you should have comfy chairs, and I think you should have your own little coffee place. Don't have to be fancy. Little coffee. I don't know what the rules are with that, but you put lids on it.
Well, okay, so think about this. The coffee shops have replaced where people go to study.
And bring it back to studying. Yeah. You can make a few dollars there.
I never
If-
thought about that until you said
Yeah.
it, but I was just in one today, and there's the girl on her computer
But
and doing her stuff.
But hold on.
whatever.
If they get, I don't know how a library gets points or whatever. Like, what do they do to show they've done stuff? With the foot traffic, how many books are
that's a good
checked
question,
out?
too.
How many members they sign up? If you think about it, you can say, hey, be a member and have access to our meaning you can buy stuff at our cafeteria that has those Sam's Club prices. They're not too expensive. They're a decent price. So you can say, you know what? This ain't Starbucks, but for $2 for a cappuccino, yeah, man, it's a decent cappuccino or $2. Something like that I think they could do just to kind of drive in some business, sit down, check out books.
Well, whenever they finish this this new location, it would be amazing to go in there and see something like that. We don't know.
We need to talk to a librarian.
Yeah.
Did you know any? I knew one girl that used to work in the library.
I knew one girl at the library down in Columbia. I mean, I knew the ladies forever. At the,
Right,
the
back growing
libraries
up,
there,
you always knew
but,
the old ladies.
Yeah. I mean, there was one that had worked there for years and years.
Of
and
course,
years
there
and years.
always is those.
Yeah.
But I love them. They're the best. But
They
anyway,
could tell you where to go, and they knew
yeah.
exactly.
But I knew one girl that used to work at that library, and I'd stop by and see her every once in a while, and she's like, "Hey, we got comic books too now," and
Yeah.
they were trying to do after school things with kids. But yeah, I don't know.
You know, back to your question, though, I think with any entertainment medium and format, things go full circle. The nostalgia comes back. I mean, records now outsell CDs.
That's true. That's true.
CDs are actually starting to come back.
But see, the thing is,
But books and print, I think, I want to say I think it's going to be around forever. I would really hope that it would be around forever because there's a more personable attachment to a book, I guess you could say, than flipping through it on a phone or
Yeah.
whatever. I mean, I like to have the product, whether it's a comic, whether it's music, whether it's whatever. Digital streaming, I don't care about, even though it has changed my listening habits and I do listen to it on the phone and stuff like that. But when it comes to the physical media, I still buy CDs of my favorite artists and this and that.
Right.
I'm still going to buy a book. So I think there's always going to be a place for a library because there's history there.
yeah,
A lot of libraries, it depends on where they are, become the focal point of keeping the history and records of said town or whatever else. So
true.
I've never really delved into that as far as the history of Monroe, West Monroe, and stuff like that. And there could be tons of stuff about that, and there are records that nobody even knows about, and all that. So I think there's some of that there.
The old microfilm. My dad used to order microfilm.
Oh, the old microfilm.
Scan on it, scan the old newspapers and everything. Everything used to be put on microfilm. That was back before the internet. Had to order that microfilm.
Yeah, now you can go to newspapers.com or whatever, but you got to pay a fee to.
Nah,
to
man,
be able
I'm
to
not
look
doing
at
that.
I'm not
Go to the
doing that either.
library.
Yeah.
But again, already out of time.
Again?
How this happens here? We're over time again. So,
How does libraries get a two-parter?
and we still didn't get to all of our topics. But anyway, okay. So, folks, question for you now: what do libraries need to do to liven up to get more foot traffic in their doors? Let us know in the comments below, and we'll see you next time on Princes of the Universe.